Hello and welcome to Summer Slam 2023 bonus show review. I'm Pondwater Dave. I'm joined by our host Justin Davis. Justin, how's it going?
All right, Dave. This was a fun show last night, I thought. What do you think about it?
I thought it was, and we just decided to pop it on last minute. And I was at my daughter's house, and my grandsons were playing, and we were just sometimes we try to take the television over, and
Yeah.
Stephanie said, "Why don't we watch SummerSlam? What's it on, Peacock?" And I said, "Yeah." So we logged in, and uh, right out of the gate, they had a video package of Logan Paul when we turned it on. And my grandsons don't watch wrestling. I got a 10-year old, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
They live in Texas. I live in Mississippi. Hey, what's going on, T-Weave? They live there, so they're not as exposed to wrestling as they would be if they were with me all the time. So immediately my grandson Jackson, the 10-year-old, goes, "Oh, I love Logan Paul. That's the Prime guy," because Jackson loves to drink Prime. But David spends a lot of time on YouTube, and he's gamer and stuff. So he's like, "Oh man, Logan Paul's an ass."
Yeah.
So, but they came and watched.
Right.
And then the show started. Hey, Bober. The show started, and I already knew that Logan Paul and Ricochet were going to put on a tremendous exhibition. I thought it was going to be really good.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to fuck that up.
But you had these boys watching it with me that were two sides of the coin. That they were two sides of the same coin. But they're not wrestling fans, and they were drawn in. And as the match went on, I even brought up on my phone and showed them the spot. "Hey, Coach, what's up, little Jimmy? Thanks for joining us." I pulled up the spot from the, I guess it might have been Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I can't remember, where they both jumped up from the apron and sprungboard and collided mid-ring. And I'm telling you, the kids were impressed with them. And
was that SummerSlam? I think I might have been there for that.
It wasn't a year ago. I don't think it was a year ago. It was the Royal Rumble. Was there a Battle Royal at WrestleMania this year?
Don't know. I don't think so.
Might have been Money in the Bank.
Well, I watched Logan Paul in Nashville last year at SummerSlam, and I was just super impressed by his athleticism and just how quick. We talked last night on the pre-show Zoom watch along. His name came up, and it was a lot of conversation, and I said it, and I still believe it. He's the best celebrity wrestler I have ever seen, as far as just pure athleticism, talent. He picks things up so quickly in the ring; it's amazing.
100%, 100%. I don't disagree with that at all. You could argue that Bad Bunny might be a bigger draw, but is he? And if it's 1 and 1A if they are.
Yeah. I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was until he got involved.
WWE introduced me to Bad Bunny, but
yeah.
You're not hearing him on the classic country station.
I can't believe you're not a Bad Bunny listener, Dave. Shocks me.
I don't even eat Blue Bunny ice cream.
Well, that shit's trash. I wouldn't eat that either.
Man, I got a friend that swears by it.
Oh, it's trash.
He was trying to tell me that it would get me through. And you remember a few years ago when Bluebell, when they pulled all the Bluebell off the shelf because it was killing people? Let me tell you how good Bluebell is. When they said they were going to start pulling it off the shelf, I headed to the store to try to get some before they could pull it.
Bluebell,
you know me, if it ain't worth dying for, it ain't worth having.
Bluebell is the Brooklyn Brawler of ice cream. It's absolute trash. Man, thank you guys for joining us on this impromptu review of SummerSlam. Mike Bober, Bobby,
Big Red Andrew telling us it was the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Coach Keith, everyone, little Jimmy, boy Jimmy, as I like to call him, Terry Weaver. Thank you guys for jumping on here with us. We just wanted to talk about SummerSlam a little bit while it was still fresh in our memories. Dave, before we go into the whole show, just overall, what's the jar ranking on this SummerSlam?
I give it a 4.
Okay.
4 jars.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was the best show they've done in the last year, but I didn't hate it at all. I thought it was entertaining.
I mean, I'm gonna nitpick a couple of things, but they weren't big enough things for me to just brutalize it. And in my opinion, there was only one bad match on the whole show.
Which one was that?
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
I mean, you worked an MMA fight. No, if we wanted to watch MMA, we'd watch MMA.
Right. What a way to go out if you're Ronda Rousey on such a shitty ass match.
Well, the crowd reaction had to make her feel good about her decision.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I didn't think about it like that.
I mean, bless her heart that it wasn't Shayna Baszler. I think the crowd was firmly behind Shayna Baszler. You're just not going to make somebody that's unlikable a face, and they should have. You know, they should have leaned into making her a heel early, and and it didn't work. And by the time they decided to lean into it, it was too late. So, but let's go back to we'll go to Logan and Ricochet. I liked how Logan was needling Ricochet's fiance. I thought it was a great match. I really thought, I mean, especially since you know that I'm more about psychology and not flip flop and fly. But the flip flop and fly was impressive. I mean, when those two guys were going after it. And so look there, special surprise tonight. Big Red Andrew's going to join us.
Big Red from his bed.
Only because Justin can't stand when I start going off about shit.
But I loved the match.
Look, look, Andrew, I wore your shirt tonight.
Damn right. We love Queen.
Hey, and I wore Brody because when I think flip flop and fly, I think Brody.
That's right.
Exactly.
No one does a flying burrito better than Big Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, you remember that time that Bruiser Brody did the 630 and landed on his back?
Oh, horrible people.
But I don't know. I mean, you just can't say anything bad about it. I even liked the ending. I thought it was great. The referee was pulled. Brass knucks were slipped on his hand. Bam.
Sounds like another finish that we talked about last week.
Yeah, I know, but it worked, and it kept, to me, it achieved what you wanted with Logan Paul because he's a heel. And you kept Ricochet strong because he got screwed. I think Ricochet can continue to elevate off of this. Honestly, do. If they book him that way, we'll see.
It doesn't hurt Ricochet. I get so tired of, oh God, he lost at SummerSlam. Who cares? People love him. He's a great performer. It's not going to hurt him.
And Logan Paul's a bigger star. That's all there is to it.
Without question. And before you jumped on, I don't know if you heard me talking about my grandkids. That tells me that you took a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old that knew who he was. One thinks he's cool, the other thinks he's an asshole. And they watched wrestling last night. And they didn't just leave after Logan Paul. They hung with me the whole show. And to me, this show, SummerSlam 2023 is going to be special to me just because my grandson David watched wrestling with me. I mean, because normally, David's, he's a little different, and he normally wants to be confined. He doesn't like to be around people. He's kind of he's a little mildly autistic. When he's tried to watch wrestling in the past, the idea that people were getting hurt really upset him.
Right. But
last night he watched it, and he just enjoyed it for what it was. So, and
I teach special needs, and I have so many kids on my roster that absolutely love wrestling. One of them comes in every day. Did you see Raw last night? Did you see whatever? Yeah, so they tend to really enjoy it. I've noticed that maybe that says something about us. I don't know, but my kids at least, they watch the hell out of it. He'll quiz me because he thinks he can get something over on me. He'll be like, who was in Bobby Heenan's family? And I, roll off a bunch of names. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, because I was alive and watched it while I was alive.
Well, he just can't stand to see people get hurt. I mean, he's got such a kind heart. And, and then he also, the injustice of somebody getting screwed really, really incensed him. I mean, like, that's not right. Well, there's going to be a lot more not right before the end of this show. Hang on, buddy.
Me and my buddies that I work with, he'll be that kid I was telling you about. He'll be walking down the hallway every day. He walks by us. We call him a different wrestling name. So one day we'll be like, "What's going on, the Genius?" Or Big Boss Man. Or he's like, he always just fires names back at us. It's hilarious.
Well, where did y'all rate the first match? How did y'all like Logan Paul?
I love Logan Paul. I've been in the Logan Paul camp since he got here. So I'm always going to be a little bit biased. I think he's just fantastic. I enjoyed the hell out of that first match.
Mark it down because me and Justin agree. Logan Paul's a star.
How many jars y'all giving it?
I would give 5 jars is the most.
Yes.
I'd give it 4.5.
I think it's solid 4.
I gave it 5 myself.
Yeah.
I thought this was the match of the night, honestly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
if you're just talking wrestling, it's not hard. Yeah, that's the match of the night.
But it's the only match I gave 5 to tonight. And I'm sure it was probably 4 on my radar, but getting to watch it through the eyes of a child made it a full 5 to me. So next up, we have Cody and Brock.
In the 2 spot.
Because Brock wanted to get the hell home.
And we appreciate Brock.
A little bit.
Well,
we appreciate Brock letting Logan go first so he could go see his brother fight.
That's the only reason Brock didn't go on first. If he can't go on last, then he's going first so he can get the hell back to Minnesota.
Right.
But he made a deal, I guess, with Logan Paul this week so Logan could get out of there.
I was ready for this one. It kind of went like I thought it would. Yeah. I just want to know why Logan Paul went to the trouble of hiding the brass knucks and not getting caught with them if Cody was just going to pick the stairs up and hit Brock in the head with him right in front of the referee.
Yeah, I thought the refereeing in this match was not good. Like, it seemed like a no-holds-barred match almost.
And it wasn't. But that's the... I mean, and here's the thing. Cody pushed him into the turnbuckle and to the corner post. He pushed him into the corner post. He pushed him into the stairs. He could have done that enough times outside the ring without having to go. Maybe he had an AEW flashback where that stuff doesn't matter. But picking up the stairs and hitting him right in front of the referee, that's DQ. He used a foreign object. You can't. If he'd done a chair, he can't do a chair. I mean, you'll get disqualified for a kendo stick. So that's my criticism with this match. That's it. That's the only fault I can find with it.
I thought it was interesting that Brock Lesnar hugged him at the end.
Well, I saw a picture today where that was done for him Andrew. 10 years ago.
I was going to ask about that exact thing at the end. Are we turning Brock face for when he returns or something there?
I don't know. I think it was just passing the torch.
Well, I was going to say, or does he need the endorsement? Does Rhodes need the endorsement from Lesnar?
I think he did. I think he did. I think saying, "Hey, we just did this, and I respect you." But then
Lesnar threw down like he does. I mean,
and I said 10 years ago, Lesnar got put over at SummerSlam 20 years ago.
At one point, Lesnar just picked Cody up and just kind of flung him over his back. It wasn't even a move. It was just like
he just throwing him. I mean, and it was every which way he could. They're telling the comeback story and all that. That's fun. But
I like that they teased the corner post, the turnbuckle with the pad gone, because I thought that was going to be the finish. I really liked how they teased that with Cody grabbing it and ripped it off. And I thought that exposed Buckle was going to come into a play, and it didn't.
Yeah,
I'd give,
and the other
I'd
thing.
give it.
Oh, go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, I give it three jars.
It gets 3.5 for me because JD Hoop designed Cody's ring attire.
That's a good point. I'm going to move mine up to 3.5 for that too.
I gave it 4 for 2 reasons. One, I couldn't find my 3 jars and a mouthful graphic. But I'm giving them 4 because the only thing I could find fault with was using the chair. I mean, using the stairs in front of the referee. That was really my only fault with that match. And did anybody notice that when Cody went and hugged his mama after the match, there was a girl,
woman behind her?
Yeah, she had them things out.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture, and maybe it was too tight. I didn't see the things, as they say.
Oh yeah, they don't interest us anyway, Jason. Not completely straight.
Anyway, you got to give her an E for effort.
And double E.
Gallagher gave her 5 jars.
Yeah, Gallagher drank her bathwater. He ain't
5 jars and a mouthful. There you are.
I was talking to Gallagher last night, and I told him he seems to me someone that wore jeans from like Buckle back in the mid 2000s. Like, I think he could have been a part of
Buckle.
Oh shit!
I think he could have been a part of the band Creed, perhaps back in the day.
Nickelback, not Creed. Don't insult Creed.
Oh, Gallagher doesn't need this abuse.
That's what he gets for living in Idaho.
Oh, good.
That was good. That was really good.
This conversation actually happened.
It did. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
And then Jimmy, of course, Sorensen knows the history of the company.
It's the only thing that's ever come out of Nebraska.
He's proud of
Buckle.
it. He's proud of it.
Buckle and Tom Osborne are the only 2 things that came out of Nebraska.
Coach Keith gets it.
In jugs, I mean jars. That's good.
You were all out there.
All right. So next we got a battle royal. Yeah.
So that LA Knight could finally win something and people would quit bitching on Twitter.
The right guy won it, if that's the question.
Yeah, but did you believe that he was going to win it? I mean,
I thought they were going to.
Oh, absolutely. I knew he was going to.
I thought Omos was probably going to end up tossing him over the top rope.
No, I thought the whole time that this match was just created so LA Knight can win something.
Well, you would think. But they haven't gone out of their way to do that yet. So I liked in the press conference last night, they asked him about the Slim Jim commercial, and he said, well, you know, after I won the battle royal, I went back in time and filmed that. How'd y'all like the Slim Jim commercial with the retro Jimmy, Randy Savage in it?
Oh yeah, I liked it.
The ooh yeah with yeah.
Yeah. Little Jimmy showing that he's from Nebraska when he says F your Bengals. And that's not how it's spelled, Jimmy. It's Bengals with an E. Try to go back to class and read some spelling or learn some reading, writing, and arithmetic and all that good stuff. Why have Theory and Santos in the match, Bober says. What do you think, Andrew?
Get him on the card.
Yeah. Why not?
That was the thing. There were a lot of them that were in the match just to be on the card.
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle royal. You need bodies in there.
Because to Bober's point, they're wrestling on SmackDown, for the United States title this weekend, or this week upcoming. But, I mean, you're going to get them a payday. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
58,000 people there. You might as well entertain them.
Yep. This is to get more people a payday and to get LA Knight a cheap victory on TV.
What's the hate with LA Knight, Justin?
I don't hate him. I get annoyed with people that think, oh God, LA Knight lost. The world is over. Like, everyone calm their tits a little bit. I mean,
I like the guy, and I'm surprised he's as over as I'm really surprised he's over as he is, because I liked him just pretty much everywhere that he's went. I thought he's best part of the NWA for a long time.
I would agree with that. As a
I mean,
television champion, yeah.
I thought Kevin Nash was being a little hard on him, but
I think I got ruined by that damn Mountain Dew match that he had a couple months ago. I was not a fan of that.
Well,
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Nash talked about it was a ripoff of The Rock. I hear more Austin than The Rock, but I get it. But the deal is these guys were 20 years ago. So how many years you got to wait before you can recycle?
Yeah, true.
I think he's got a lot of charisma. I like him. I don't know if he's world champion material.
No,
I mean,
but I didn't think Daniel Bryan was either. And the people willed that into existence. And I'm going to laugh at WWE if he gets so much crowd reaction behind him that it screws up their plans with Cody like Sami Zayn did earlier this year.
Yeah, everything is on repeat in wrestling, so I don't know why people get. I mean, the WWE every 6 years has a vignette with someone that's living in the water or coming out of the water. They had Corporal Kirshner, they had Skinner, and then they had the Stalker, and they were each 6 years apart.
So, but good for LA Knight that he won that battle royal. Overall, as far as battle royals go, I gave it a 3.
I would say it wasn't horrible, right in the middle, yeah.
But there's how many battle royals are ever better than a 3?
Yeah. Unless it's the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's a different grading scale.
That's a different breed, yeah, exactly.
So I gave it a 3. Next up,
little Jimmy saying Huskers is better than the Buckeyes. Come on. I mean, you want to count wins, Jimmy?
I've been a Husker fan longer than little Jimmy's been alive, and even I know that's bullshit. So
I'm going to agree with Jimmy because I hate the Buckeyes.
Oh, fuck Ohio State, but they're still better than Nebraska.
The next one is, I don't know, we already talked about it. Shayna Baszler taking on Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler was Ronda Rousey's sparring partner when Ronda Rousey was the baddest woman on the planet, tapping women left and right.
Just like Dave.
Shayna Baszler was tapping women left and right too.
Yes, she does.
No, she said it before. I've heard her go back after her haters before.
She don't care. She's a better wrestler than Ronda, for sure.
She's a better pro wrestler, definitely.
I'm going to give this 1 jar because I feel bad for them getting put in this spot.
I gave them 1 jar too. And I blame the booking more than I blame them. But I'm not sure that it would have. Honestly, I guess since it was supposedly Ronda's last match is why it was on there because,
right.
I mean, you canceled Becky and Trish for this. Rhea Ripley wasn't on there for this.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to cut Rhea Ripley anyway?
I think it's because they know that she's going to get plenty of spotlight in her spots with the guys. So it's like, well, we kind of got her on the show. You know what I mean?
Boomer, Bobby. Anyway, it was bad. I mean, it was just parts of it. If you want to watch, I don't even know if it was good for an MMA fight.
I don't know if it sets her up if she's looking to go back to MMA, which I think she is. I don't know if that sets her up in the greatest spot.
I was honestly shocked she lost the match.
I was not.
I wasn't. I knew Baszler would win because I knew that she what's her name, Ronda Rousey was leaving, so I didn't.
Yeah, but I'm just really shocked that. I mean, I know how it went like it should have gone, but I didn't think that it would.
I agree with that with Dave because Ronda's very political, but from the standpoint that the right person won, the right person won. And Shayna Baszler, unfortunately, has not been used properly since she was the Queen of Spades. And
I agree.
That's true.
I agree. They have mishandled her terribly.
Do you think that from here?
You talk about a battle for Charlotte, Bianca, Asuka.
I mean, she should just be a badass.
Yeah.
She should be like a mixture of Kane and Steve Austin. You know what I mean? Like just a badass that doesn't talk a lot, but she will come out and kick your ass.
I think so. I mean, hopefully she'll get some get a bit of a spotlight from here, but I fear that maybe she won't, but she should. I mean, now that she's disposed of Ronda, if Ronda was anything, if they're going to treat it that Ronda was a big deal, then Shayna, maybe Shayna ought to have a good match against the new champion Io. So we'll see. But
was anyone surprised? Well, we'll talk about it when we get to that match. Go ahead.
Next up, we have Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion,
one of my favorites,
against Drew McIntyre.
This match went how I thought it would. I never thought, of course, that Drew was winning this match, but I was really impressed with two big guys that showed their athleticism and that showed that you don't have to be Rey Mysterio Jr. to get in this ring and perform at a top level. And I thought both of them did last night.
I thought so too. I thought it was a really good match. I don't think Drew should have beat Gunther.
No, and we talked last night on a Zoom because someone said earlier in a Zoom that they want Cody to face like what if Cody was wrestling back in the 80s and fought the Russian in WCW? What's his name? Nikita Koloff. Nikita Koloff. And I said, well, I really think that next year's SummerSlam main event is going to be Cody against Gunther. And I think that's his Nikita Koloff, you know.
That's
I think
fair.
that could.
I don't know that it takes that long.
I think that could be a hot program. After Cody wins the title at Mania, now you can shift it toward Cody versus Gunther at SummerSlam.
I'm all for Gunther. No matter.
I'm not convinced that Cody's going to win the title at WrestleMania, y'all.
I think he will, but we'll see.
It's in Philly, so it's debatable.
I'm not convinced.
The American Nightmare not going to win in the city of brotherly love where America started?
It's Philly.
Come on. He's winning.
We'll see. I mean, I know that you would think that that's what's going to happen, but I'm not convinced that it's going to.
The Twitter X would blow the fuck up if he loses at WrestleMania.
Let's circle back to Cody real quick on suplexes. Did anybody notice that he was taking suplexes on one shoulder and not flat on both shoulders? Yeah, much the way that Ric Flair.
I was going to say he's pulling a Rick on us. Yeah.
Do you think he's conscientious about not re-injuring himself?
Probably.
It just that I noticed it over and over again. And I mean, to the point where I thought he was actually that first suplex he took, I thought he came down on his head and I thought he was hurt. It's hard to tell from the camera angle, but it looked like he got spiked.
Well, that one thing about Lesnar, whenever he gets a hold of you, I mean, you're going to go wherever he wants you to go. And he gets that adrenaline running, and it's not hard to make a mistake when you're 295 pounds with the strength that he has.
And let's face it, Cody's not as big as the guys he's normally throwing around.
What did he weigh in last night? 225, they announced him?
They announced Cody at 225?
I think so.
That's a HBK 225 then.
Yeah.
I think he might be 225.
Even if he's 225, Lesnar can throw 500-pound people around.
Yeah,
Dave, I'm 200 pounds. He's got weight. I'm sure he's got 25 pounds on me with his muscle.
Could be. We'll do. I mean, I'm not opposed to kayfabe weights. I mean, to me, anybody that will announce that their weight is in the 190s. I mean, to me, if I was the Young Bucks, you would never introduce us under 430 pounds as a combined weight of 430 pounds.
Yeah, they come in at 390 or something.
I would never admit that I was under 200 pounds. Even I'm 5'6", and I wouldn't. But if you come in weighing 195 pounds, bitch, be 200. It's okay. This is wrestling. If you were professional enough to wear a pair of boots, you'd have lifts in them.
Go ahead.
Fudge your weight.
Go ahead and sell Nick Wayne, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, what's his face? The other guy in the inner circle, the Hispanic guy. I forget his name. Go ahead and sell all them as 200 pounds. Ain't nobody gonna believe you.
Daniel Garcia.
That's it. The young kid. Ain't nobody gonna believe you.
But you don't have to. I mean, but at least you would announce it.
Daniel, it's 200 now. He's put on a little bit of weight.
What's his name? Crash Holly used to carry the scale around saying he weighed over 200.
400. He was 400 pounds.
And you can get the B200 bitch t-shirt over at Pondwater Dave.
B200 bitch.
This is wrestling. We lied anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. We need some merch ideas. All right, so how do we feel about Gunther and Drew? I felt like it was a good match. I didn't feel like it was a great match.
Gave it 4 stars.
I like it.
Physical. The right guy won.
I agree with that.
I gave it 3, but four's not out. You know.
That's my style, though. That's the kind of wrestling I really like. If it's not tag team wrestling, it's the Sheamus, McIntyre, Gunther, Timothy Thatcher. We're going to beat the brakes off each other.
Yeah, we're going to call it 4 because I like a good fight, too. So there we go.
And you don't need every match to be that way. You know?
No.
Every match doesn't have to be that way.
I thought it was good. I thought, like I said, from top to bottom, I thought the card was great. And it's just Ronda and Shayna were what they were. And I blame that more on the steps than I do the talent.
Absolutely. That's all. That blame lays at the feet of one Bruce Pritchard or someone back there. I don't know.
I bet you Bruce won't take credit for that one.
Hell no, he wasn't nowhere near it. He wasn't even in the building when it was playing.
All right, next up we are for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins defending against Finn Balor. I loved the build-up. I loved the history lesson that 7 years ago, Finn won the Universal Championship, but because Seth had hurt him, he lost the Universal Championship without getting to defend it. I loved that Finn put 7 on his arm where he got hurt. I loved that Seth wore the vest out that he hurt him in. I mean, just that storytelling really drew me into a match that I would probably otherwise might not have been drawn into, but I was heavily intrigued because I honestly thought that Damian Priest was cashing in last night, and I was convinced he was going to cash in on Finn. I thought
that was a possibility, but the reason I did like this match, because first of all, I am a mark for Finn Balor, and I always have been. But I think that what I was expecting the entire match and telling the people on Zoom I was on last night, this is going to end with the group trying to help Finn, but it hurts Finn and Finn loses, which is exactly what they did. It was a very predictable finish, I thought, but the match was good. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, but it could have gone, but it also could have gone Finn winning. And if they didn't do that in the women's match, it probably would have happened in the men's match. And
I think the wrong guy won. I think Finn Balor should have walked away with the world title.
I do too.
I do too.
But y'all know how I feel about Seth, and I'm not a
Seth Rollins. Good.
I'm not a huge Seth fan, but I will say that since he won the world title, he's made that world title mean a hell of a lot more than Roman's Universal title, and I don't care how many thousands of days he's had it.
Teppy, can you put Mike Bober's comment up?
Teppy's not in the background.
Is that you? Okay. For the first time in Mike Bober's miserable life, he's correct about something, and I just wanted to point it out. He's a truth teller.
But no, he's not, because it's more than 8, motherfuckers. What's wrong with you all? It ain't no damn 8-pack.
He's got. I think his abs have abs.
You could tenderize meat on them things, and I'd be glad to do it. He doesn't even have to tan.
Well, next
I'll be all
match.
right with it.
Hey, what'd y'all give this? I gave it 4 jars.
I
Easily.
gave it 3.5.
Easily the most enjoyable match of the night for me. I gave it 4.5 or 5, honestly.
Okay.
It just got a little bit downgraded to me because I just knew the way they were going to finish it, and they did it.
But the stomp was creative onto the Money in the Bank case.
Did you hear? Did any of y'all watch any of the press conference?
Mhm.
Triple H was on the press conference. Somebody asked him about the bloodline and Judgment Day, and he said they're different. He said the bloodline has a definitive leader. There's no doubt who their leader is.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but the Judgment Day does not have I mean, you could argue that Finn's the leader. You could argue that Damien's the leader. And more than likely, Rhea's the leader. And I don't think anybody thinks that Dom's the leader, but he is an important cog in the wheel.
God, the heat he generates just walking out. I love it.
To
But
me,
I love how he said that nobody's mistaken Dom for the leader.
honestly, I feel like Mommy's the leader. Like, none of them's going to tell her what to do. She's going to put them all in their fucking place.
Mommy's, yeah. Did y'all see the picture Mommy posted earlier this week?
And all the men are jealous of Buddy Murphy. That is correct.
Yeah. Let's give that golf clap for Buddy Murphy. He's over with me.
Apparently he can sell.
Yeah, apparently. And I mean, let's look at his resume. Before,
Alexa Bliss.
yeah.
I saw a cute video on X or whatever the hell it's called now, where
It's going to drive him crazy that they renamed Twitter.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you though, it hit me this weekend. I had an epiphany, and I'm probably because I'm slow. Conrad says I'm a slow adult. I finally figured out that he names everything X.
yeah, I know.
SpaceX is his brand.
Yeah, I know.
Heck, I think he named his
likes the
kid
letter
X before SpaceX even came around. He's got a kid named X.
I don't care. He's killing a brand.
Hey,
But
what? But think about it. What's so goddamn great about the brand? Can you think of a more
Everyone
toxic?
uses it.
Is there a more toxic website on the internet though? I use it all the time. I love Twitter. I pay for it just so I can correct my misspellings.
yeah,
That's the only reason I pay for it.
I ain't giving that son bitch $1.
Reddit would be the only other toxic place that rivals the X.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what's so damn great about the brand?
It became the most popular app in the world. That's what's so great.
Well, I know,
about
but I still use it every day. Has it lost any popularity?
And the former president
yes,
of the United
it has
States
for me.
weaponized it.
It has for me because I can only see so many tweets now because I don't pay. So now I see the same tweets all fucking day long. So
Are
thanks.
they still
Elon
doing
Musk.
that?
Yes.
Are you following Matt Coon?
No.
Okay. I was just
No
trying to
one
help
else
you
is
get your
either.
Yes.
trying to help you get your tweet count down.
Actually, I do follow Matt Coon.
I'm just kidding. I love Matt Coon. Hey y'all, I love Matt Coon. He blocked me, but I still love him. Matt Coon is my friend.
So where I got
Whether
on this
I don't know if I'm his friend,
yeah.
but I love him.
Matt Coon somehow managed to kill a Dax Harwood podcast. You get the fuck out of here with me.
So where I was going before we got on this Elon Musk talk,
All
I saw a video on there where Dom was and Mommy were taking pictures with kids Summer Slam weekend, like Friday or Saturday.
That little kid was
And
hilarious.
this little kid just started shoving Dom out of the picture so he'd get a picture with Ripley. I thought it was freaking fantastic.
That kid knew what he was about. Come on now.
There you go. And you gotta love it though. You got to. And I mean, I said this on the pod last week, and I said, who has since The Rock started out so hated as a good guy with a pedigree in wrestling?
Yeah, that's true.
And within a year became the hottest heel in wrestling.
Yeah.
Other than Kurt Angle, it's not even close.
Yeah, I think they did. I think I think Kurt Angle started out, and his good guy persona, they turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You could be right about that. So yeah, Rock, Angle, and Dom. Anyway, let's move it on. Let's move it on to the match for the. I can't remember what champion she is. She's the WWE Women's Champion. Asuka defending against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair. This is one match that I got wrong. I thought they would keep the title on Asuka, and I thought Asuka would get a better rub from winning against those two than those two would have, for winning. But then they had Bianca go over and then immediately lose it. I was kind of surprised by all that.
Bianca's clearly the future of the women's division, and that's
right.
why they did what they did.
I think the getting hurt and halfway to the back, getting back to the ring, I think that's overdone. I guess they did it last night because she was going to be the one that was going to end up dropping the belt in the Money in the Bank with the Money in the Bank cash in. I liked the finish I liked the finish. I really didn't care I didn't really care for the injury, the faked injury. But it was storytelling. I'm not going to crap on it all the way. It was personal preference, but I loved that Charlotte had the figure 8 on, and then Asuka spits the mist in Charlotte's face, which to me is a tap out because I think we can all agree that spitters is quitters. But seriously, I loved the mist. And I love that it freaks my grandkids out that I had to explain the mist to them. But
did you tell them about the levels and how black?
Oh yeah, I told him. I said if it was green, I told him if it was green mist, that she'd have been blind.
That's it. Yeah.
And if it's black mist, bitch would be dead.
And on a personal note, at this particular juncture, I was glad that Charlotte did not win the belt last night. And it was for selfish reasons because honestly, I can't afford a replica belt right now. And it's a new belt and I've got all the belts that she's held and I just wasn't really ready to make that purchase yet. And it would have drove me crazy until I got one. And if I'm telling the truth, I would rather her win the belt. I would rather her win the other belt that Rhea's got because I like it a lot better. But Io Sky's your new champion. With Bayley as her mouthpiece, I think it's going to be tremendous.
That I did not expect, honestly. But I agree with you. Once again, the women steal the creativity for the finish of the night, just like they did at Money in the Bank. Figure 8, miss, inside cradle, and then the cash in. So I agree with you, Dave. No problems with the match whatsoever. I'm glad Charlotte Flair didn't win. They've jammed Charlotte, unfortunately, down everybody's throats. And I know I got to carefully say this because I do believe she's the best female wrestler in the world. But I think that hot potato with the world titles has not done her any favors. And the in and out has not done her any favors.
And honestly, she doesn't need the belt at this point.
No, at this point, and that's why I said to me, Bianca.
She's going to need it 3 more times.
She's the future. Bianca's the future of the company.
She's going to need it 3 more times.
I don't know if they let her beat Flair or not.
I don't see a scenario where they don't. But I'm glad that she's not the one that got it. I mean, I would have thought her becoming a 15-time champion to lose it in 95 seconds would. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do that to her.
Yeah, and then they took it off Asuka again, though. I don't know what the problem is where Asuka was another one at NXT. Of course, that was booked strictly by Triple H, where she was a buzz killer. I mean, she was a buzzsaw, rather. It was just everything she did was so crisp, so neat, so clean, and they have not been able to find a spot for Asuka on the main roster. she's a placeholder.
Yeah.
This is the 4th or 5th time she's been the transitional champion.
And she's so good.
That's what I'm saying. She's a
I
damn
love
buzzsaw.
I love her work.
I mean, that women's division in WWE, and I don't want to talk about AEW because we might have people that get offended and/or, go off that tangent. They're not even on the same level. It's not even a fair comparison with the women's division because you look over at WWE and they're just stacked from top to bottom. And I'd like to see what Io can do with the title. And I think she will make the most of her opportunity. It just depends on how they book it.
My wife just brought me the 3 candles. Is she trying to tell me something? Is this for me or for Big Red?
I said we ain't said nothing about Hannibal, so don't put that on me.
Those are the ones Amy gave you.
Okay. Oh, you were just bringing them back. It's just coincidental that Andrew's on here with us.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I need all the help I can get.
I think Dave has gas, and she's just trying to get some scent in the room.
Well, no, they're lights, so.
Yeah, they're not going to do it
They
again.
were lights. They were.
So I gave it 3. I
Yeah,
gave it
that's
3
where I'm at.
stars.
That's
I mean,
where
3
I'm-
jars.
I was at 3 or 3.5. I mean, we're all in the same area.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best match I'd ever seen by the women, obviously.
I do think that I do think the finish was very creative.
So creative. And I don't know who's booking that, Jamie Noble or Abyss or the women themselves, but those ladies have got that part of the match figured out in these high-profile matches that they're having.
I think there was a list of who the agents were for all the matches.
I didn't read it, didn't pay attention to it, never saw it. So I don't know who it was. But I can find out.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time while we're broadcasting to go find it, but
I'll find out later, yeah.
there is a list of the producers though, because I saw it because somebody retweeted it and said, "Are we at a point that we really need to know who the producers for each match are before the matches?"
Probably, if I was producing or an agent, I don't know that I'd want my name on there because what if you have an absolute shit stink like that women's match earlier in this thing?
And now it's time for the main event. For the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion and control over the the Bloodline. We had Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, defending against Jey Uso. Did I get it right?
Yep.
You did.
Because sometimes
And
I get them
once
confused.
again, this was a finish that was predictable as hell as well. I mean, you knew that Jimmy was going to screw it up for Jay.
I did not know that.
Oh, I did, at least. That's what I thought was going to happen.
No, I'm going to say that I was into it, and I was completely shocked that Jimmy showed up. As a matter of fact, I thought if Jimmy showed up, Jimmy was going to come down and maybe fight off Solo to help Jay. Because I was kind of shocked that nobody was coming to help Jay.
The thought never crossed my mind that Jimmy Uso would make the turn. I don't like it. Absolutely hate it. And they could have gotten away with just Solo and Heyman out there. But they got to have something for Jimmy and Jay to do now.
Dave, I just sent you a text if you want to look at it. See if you want to. There we go. That's what I sent you a text about.
We would
Send
just
me a
like to
text.
say,
I got it.
we would just like to say that your intro for last week's episode was fabulous. And Pondwater,
Thank you, Everett.
it was just absolutely amazing how good that analysis was of Ric Flair's last match. Hashtag shoulders were down. That's all.
Everett, maybe whenever
He didn't even let me welcome Everett to the
Nope.
show.
I know I was gonna make a joke and say, Everett, maybe when you become a big boy, you can do great introductions like I did last week for Conrad.
He's 13. Stop it.
I mean, Conrad jumped in and introduced himself before I could even save the situation.
It was
That's
terrible.
funny to me.
It was wrote down. Now, I mean, we did
Yes, it
pivot,
was.
but you could tell Justin was nervous because it's like the countdown went, and then it was like, "Oh, we're on."
I was confused on what we were doing there. I was confused on what we were doing at all, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah.
Once I go into confusion mode, it gets bad.
The greatest podcaster of all time got in his head. That's for sure. I mean, I was nervous as a dog trying to pass a peach seed, but
I just like how Conrad, when he got off, he said, "Sorry for stepping on your intro, Justin."
He knew what he did.
oh, it was
shit.
good though. I mean, I thought it was a good episode.
I think it was a great show. You guys have been doing a really, really good run right now.
Thank you. We got some good stuff
quality.
coming. Before we head on to this main event, I'll tell you that this week we're going to have independent wrestling sensation Kaya McKenna with her witchy goodness on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking
then
forward to that.
coming up in the next few weeks, we're going to have Cabana Man Dan
And Adam from Bama.
and Adam from Bama. And then
The
we're also
Alabama
going to
independent wrestling contingent.
and we're going to close out the month of August with Mike Bober with his episode
Ooh.
with the Pittsburgh Penguins making trades this weekend. I can imagine what we're going to talk
That
about.
one's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be hotly contested with me and Bober on.
Yeah. So good stuff coming up with we're kind of pivoting into an interview show, and I like it. I like it a lot. So anyway, the match started out slow. I thought the match started out real slow, but that's how most Roman Reigns matches start out. They start out slow, and then they gain momentum. And then he decided to take a break and let Solo wrestle the match for him. I liked at the beginning that he said he wouldn't give the referee the beads. He said, "If you beat me, I will give them to you. He won't give them to you. He won't give them to you. I will give them to you." I liked all that. Man, it's just, I think the newest member of the Bloodline is his name's going to be Swerve Bro. They got to quit swerving so much. I mean, eventually, how many times are these matches going to end with?
But is Jimmy turning on Jay really a swerve? I felt like they've been building up to that for a month and a half or so.
But the story tells itself, yeah, with main event Jay and Jay being the savior and all this other stuff. But brother versus brother, yeah, whatever. I want to see the bloodline. I don't want to see Jimmy and Jay.
It was suggested today that the next one could be a four-way between them all, because now there's some dissension with Solo. We don't know that Jimmy's with Roman. We know he's against Jay. Solo hurt him. I mean, they put him out. So
are we going to have
now you have four-way animosity?
Andrew, are we going to have what we had in 1993 with under no circumstances will I fight my brother? Is that what Jimmy's going to be saying here?
He kicked his leg. Owen kicked his leg out of his leg.
That's
Hashtag
right.
The best Hart. Owen Hart.
Yes,
Not Brett.
that's
Brett
right.
Sucks.
Preach
always
it.
Suck. Always will suck.
Can I get an amen?
Tainted his legacy. Owen Hart would never shit all over his body of work the way that Bret Hart
You
did.
guys can be wrong
Anyway.
together. It's fine. You guys can be wrong together. But
Owen Hart, best Hart.
seriously, do you think Jimmy is going to pull that card? Like, I don't want to fight Jay, or Jay going to pull that and say, I don't want to fight Jimmy?
Yeah, but how long do you make it? Survivor Series? Not even that. I mean, you can't. They won't last that long. So I mean, they can do whatever they want to do, but I don't know. Dave has an interesting point about a potential four-way because Solo was giving Roman the mean mug last night, and I think they need to run with Solo and make him Umaga 2.0. Just let it go. Just let him do his thing.
Without question.
Let him tear everybody apart. Let them try to control him and not be able to, and let his overzealous nature actually cost Roman the title if you don't know how to tie this up.
Well, in the same vein
That's
as
the
the
problem.
four,
Now they don't know where to go.
in the same vein as the failed four horsewomen feud that we never got. How cool would it be if Jacob Fatu and Zilla Fatu showed up with Solo, and Roman and the Usos had to get together to fight that threat?
That could be cool too. Because Jacob Fatu is going to WWE at some point.
Or even better, now that I've said it out loud and thought about it, that Roman has Solo and Jacob. No, Roman has Zilla and Jacob, and Solo has to get his brothers to fight that threat. Those three brothers come together. I got tickled. I was watching I saw a TikTok video today of Jey Uso and asked his son who was going to win the match. And he said, he goes, at this point, I got to take Uncle Joe. His kid was choosing Roman. For y'all that don't know, Roman's real name is Joe.
And he's got like 8 kids.
But apparently he calls him Uncle Joe, and he told his dad that he was at this point, I'm going with Uncle Joe. So anyway, for that match, I came up with because I wasn't crazy about the finish. I came up with 3 jars.
Yeah, I think he finally. I agree with the 3 jars because the action was fine. It was another no DQ, no holds barred, whatever you want to call it, affair, but which gave him the out. I don't agree with the out, and that's the problem with these really good, compelling stories. We see it with television all the time, be it whatever series you want to name, The Sopranos or any of those. They don't know how to end it.
And this would have been a good time for this type of match. That if you're going to continue you're going to continue to run with Roman Reigns, that he should have beat Jey. He could have cheated, but he should have beat him by himself to re-emphasize that I am your tribal chief, and it's time for you to re-acknowledge me.
Yeah, and you're making Roman, a 275-pound man, look like a chicken shit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good opportunity there that he can't do it by himself. And I think with all the stipulations we're on there, this would have been a good chance, especially if we're going to run with Roman all the way through WrestleMania. Yeah. Because I mean, they're piling these days on at this point. They're really on to making him. I mean, I don't think they're going to keep it on long enough for him to outlast Bruno.
Yeah, I don't think he'll beat Bruno. Has he passed Hogan, the original Hogan run from 84 to 88? Has he made it that far yet or not yet?
He's pretty close.
He might make it. He might make it past Bruno just because Vince is that petty. And remember how Vince and Bruno got into that little spat in the late 80s and early 90s.
But allegedly, Vince has nothing to do with creative per the
and that allegedly should have quotation marks around.
I said allegedly, fool.
Yeah, Vince has got a lot. Vince has probably got a lot on his mind right now.
Yeah, shit to do with his own company, please.
Yeah, I'd like to know what he got rated for. Wonder what that's all about.
I don't know, but he had back surgery too.
Do you think it's because he was using company money to pay off people? They're rating him for that?
I mean, the felony is if he used company money for the payouts. If he used his own money, there's really no felony there.
Hogan was the champion for 1,474 days.
Yeah, that's what I said. From January 23rd, 1984 to February the 5th, 88.
Yeah, it was 1,474. So he'd have to hold it another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's losing the Mania.
I mean, Cody would make sense. The problem is Philly's a heel town, baby. That's where the Horsemen were over.
That's true. But they were on Steve Austin's side at WrestleMania 14, and he was a babyface.
That was Boston. 15 was.
That's right.
15 was in Philly.
How cool would it be if Charlotte Flair came out and screwed Cody out of winning the championship?
Stop it.
Here comes Dave trying to implant a Flair into this.
God almighty. Stop.
Did a Flair screwed a Rhodes in a world title match?
let's just
She could have a match. And if they go intergender, I think her and Cody could have a good match.
Yeah, the good news is WWE doesn't do that nonsense often.
I got you. I just think that I think it would be a good match. I think they would match up well. She's as big as him.
By the
Well,
way,
they're capable.
I was really shocked that Efren's head looked as good as it did because I saw Everett was shaving his head earlier today, but apparently he did a good job.
Boy, Efren's Efren's quality human being. Do they get any better than Efren?
Not for me.
Man, what he's doing, you know, he's just such one of the most considerate people in the world. And I felt so bad because he asked me this week if he had sent me a Baskin Robbins gift card, and it was like a year ago. So I wish he'd asked me sooner because I can't find anything in my email from Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, he sent me. I won one of the game events, and I got like a $250 gift card to Cameo, and I don't even know where it is. If he emailed it to me,
I got the Cameo one, and I used it. I sent my friend Russ Miller a Cameo after his father passed.
Yeah, I haven't figured out what I want to use that for yet. But as far as just positive people, when you think of someone that just lights a room up, I think of two people. And Efren, of course, is one, and Dave Silva would be the other.
Oh, yeah.
I did not see the reason why Everett shaved Efren's head. Why was
that?
We
got to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that either.
I saw the
All
picture.
I saw was the picture, yeah. Answering Carla in her comment.
Well, boys, what else we got?
I don't know. I think
we've said
it all. We've said enough.
Justin wants to get drunk.
Do we think that?
Basic white man shit for the next 10 days before he has to go back to school.
Do we agree with the decision to cut the ladies' matches from the card?
No.
What matches did they cut?
They cut Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
That Becky Lynch earned the match against Trish, did everything, jumped through all those hoops. They're moving that to Raw. And they cut
well, Rhea wasn't on the card.
They cut Rhea's match against, was it Liv Morgan? No, not Liv Morgan. Who was Rhea? No, what's her name? Built like a yield sign.
Rodriguez? Raquel?
Yes. Rhea's argue. I get that Rhea was out there for the. She did her Judgment Day duty, so at least she was on the show.
Yeah, but anytime you get to see Rhea Ripley perform, it's a good thing because she's an excellent wrestler.
They said they've only seen her. She's only actually wrestled on one pay-per-view or one PLE since WrestleMania.
I will say everybody can talk about how great she looks, and there is no denying that. I get that, but she is a very entertaining wrestler and always has been. So if you're watching wrestling, get rid of the Ronda and Baszler match and put that on Raw.
Yeah,
around this time last year, I predicted that she would win the Royal Rumble and then win the title at WrestleMania. She reminds me, and I compared her to this at the time. She reminds me of a female Psycho Sid, just like just looks like she is going to kick your ass. And I really enjoy her a ton.
Yeah, she's tremendous. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. That the fact that she used to look like, basically look like a Barbie doll. That she drastically changed her look to stand out.
And that's what I was going to say, that uniqueness.
But she had the talent and the personality to bring that new persona out. Yep. Because she didn't get lost in the shuffle of the Charlotte Flair, of Dana Brooke, of Liv Morgan, of Lacey Evans. I want to say blondes are a dime a dozen, but Tiffany Stratton. There's so many of them that fit that template. Uh-huh. Lane Kiffin's new girlfriend.
Before we get off here,
I know Lane Kiffin.
People have been listening to Drowned On for an hour. I just want to say thank you to Carla Odom and Everett Odom for watching this and being on here with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I wanted to welcome Everett to the show and congratulate him on winning, being awarded a black belt this weekend. A great kick. I mean, he broke that wood.
Laser. Damn.
Man, he's a little badass.
That was laser focused. You could see it in his eyes too, and he threw that kick. Dave, you did not.
Is he money motivated? Is he really? Is he a money motivated child? Because every time Efren says that to me about the shoulders being down, if he'd roundhouse him, I could probably come up with a cash contribution.
Everett doesn't work for free. He's not coming on this show.
Yeah, get him, grasshopper.
Oh shit.
Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, thank y'all for hit the wrong button. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for our studio audience showing up at last minute on a Sunday night for us. We appreciate y'all so much for jumping in and participating. I just thought that we're not really doing this kind of stuff on the normal show, that I would maybe we'll start doing some more pop-up bonus episodes if there's something newsworthy or something that went on to talk about. I mean, Coach Keith down in Cancun with a drink in his hand.
He's got a hard life right now for that Coach Keith. He's retired from coaching.
I mean, if I'm in Cancun, I'm not listening to my amateur ass still podcast. But I mean, in fairness, he's probably having so many of those those frozen drinks that I'm sounding like Conrad right now to him.
Oh, I forgot to, for those I think Everett is watching, so I want to show Everett this. I forgot to tell you guys. This is our situation right now.
Uh-oh.
Say, because I have a place on my face that I keep scratching and opening it up and it bleeds. So now I have to wear this around and I keep bumping. She went to run outside today and she hit the wall and it brought her back, caught her and yanked her head.
Look at that good girl.
So, yeah.
I've got a friend that's got a Frenchie and she keeps telling us to take it home and I cannot get my wife on board with it.
So we're dealing with the cone of death right now, and she is not happy, to say the least. But oh well, it happens. I think Teppy had to put a cone on Dave, so he quit looking at himself one time too.
Stop it! You know it was you. That's where the damn cone came from. That cone came out of Justin's closet. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
I mean, everybody's seen me walk around. They know I can't even bend over and touch my toes, so that ain't.
There's a lot of stuff that comes out of my closet, Andrew.
Closet's a dangerous place. Just telling you.
Oh, take us home, Justin.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. You guys comment in there. For Pondwater Dave, for the great Andrew Harmis. My name is Justin Davison. Please take care of yourself and each other. So long, everyone.